Welcome friends, welcome to Physics in 20 minutes. Today we are basically looking at the problems on work, power and energies. Here is the first problem. A car has been pushed by a force of 200 Newton for 20 meter. The push was applied at an angle of 30 degree to the horizontal. Calculate the work done by the force. So here is the sketch of the situation. We have a car which has been pushed by a force of 200 Newton at some angle to the horizontal like this, and displacement that the car has seen is 20 meter. Remember, the work has to be done only by the component of the force which is in the direction of the displacement. So if this angle is theta to the horizontal, the car has been displaced in horizontal direction. If theta is the angle with the horizontal, then the component of the force which is in the direction of displacement will be F cos theta. So the work done is, the force is 200 Newton, displacement is 20 meter, theta is 30 degree. So work done is Fs cos 30. Substitute the values, solve it. You should be able to get a value of 3464 joule, which is 3.46 kilojoule. Let's take the next one. A car has been pushed, again a car has been pushed by a force given by vector F is equal to 150 I cap minus 50 J cap Newton, and displacement is given by vector S is equal to 15 I cap plus 10 J cap meter. Calculate the work done. So if you remember, in the previous problem, the magnitude of the force was given and you needed to take a component. Sometimes magnitude may not be given, but what could be given would be in vector forms. In that case, you know that the work done is nothing but the dot product of force and displacement. So you write down your force vector, you write down your displacement vector, write down F dot S, put the values. So you get a 150 I cap minus 50 J cap dot 15 I cap plus 10 J cap. What is the dot product of two vectors? Here coefficient of I cap will multiply, coefficient of J cap will multiply. So this into this will give me 2250, 150 into 15 will give me 2250, 50 into 10 will give me 500. Once I subtract, I will get 1750. Work done is given in joule. So 1750 joule. Let's take the next one. So man pulls a 30 kg fruit box. So here is a man, here is a box, here is a rope. Fruit box with a rope for a distance of 20 meter on the road. Rope is inclined at an angle of 37 degree to the horizontal. Tension in the rope is constant at 300 Newton. A force of friction, and the coefficient of friction is given, mu is 0.5, between the road and the box opposes the motion of the box. Calculate the work done by each of the forces acting on the box and by the net force, or work done by the net force. Work done by the net force you have to calculate. So tension in the rope is working along the rope away from the body, apart from which you have to look at the situation and figure out weight of the body will always work. So the tension can have a component in the horizontal direction, which is T cos theta, which is the direction of displacement, and it will have a component in the perpendicular direction, T perpendicular, which will be T sin theta. Remember, we are resolving a vector into two components. Mg, weight of the box, will work in the downward direction. Normal reaction from the ground on the box will work in the upward direction. and force of friction works in the reverse direction, backward direction, opposite to the motion. So we have to calculate the force, we have to calculate the work done by each of these forces. So let us start doing that. So firstly, the work done by tension. So remember, only the horizontal component of tension is doing the work, T cos theta. So work done by tension, I would write it as Wt is force into displacement into cos theta. So it will be 300 into 20 into cos 37. Cos 37 is 4 by 5, that will give you 4800 Newton. What will be the work done by the friction? Wait, yeah, it will be negative. To find out the work done by the friction, we must know the normal reaction. So we have to write the equation, Newton's law for along the y-axis to get that n value. So you can see that there are two vectors working upward and one vector working downward. So upward vectors are positive, plus n plus t perpendicular, and downward vector is negative minus mg. There is no acceleration along y-axis, so it is 0. So that will give me n as normal reaction as minus t perpendicular plus mg, which is equal to minus t sin theta plus mg. Once I substitute the values, I get that as 120 Newton. So this is my normal reaction. Once I get my normal reaction, I can calculate my frictional force. It is mu times normal reaction. Mu is 0.5. So 0.5 into 120 will give me 60 Newton. Then work done by friction will be force of friction into displacement into the angle. Now friction is working towards, listen carefully, friction is working towards leftward while displacement is happening towards rightward. So these two vectors are in the opposite direction, force and displacement are in opposite direction. Therefore the angle between them is 180 degree. Therefore I would write cos 180 over here. Therefore it will become 60 into 20 into cos 180 is minus 1. So once I substitute, work done by friction is minus 1200 Newton, sorry, minus 1200 Joule. Now you can see the work is being done by mg, and normal reaction will be 0 because they are perpendicular to the displacement. In the last class we have discussed that the forces which are perpendicular to displacement, the work done by them is 0. So the work done by gravity is 0, work done by normal reaction is 0. Therefore the total work done is sum of all the four works, this and these two. These two are obviously 0. So my total work done is going to be 3600 Joule, 4800 minus 1200. In previous example, if initially the box is at rest, find its speed at the end of 20 meter. And we can use work kinetic energy theorem to solve this this part of the problem. So total work is 3600 Joule. Work kinetic energy theorem says that total work done is equal to change in the kinetic energy. Therefore total work is final kinetic energy minus initial kinetic energy. Do remember, whenever you have to write the change in the kinetic energy, it has to be written as final minus initial. So initially the box starts from the rest, so initial kinetic energy will be 0. Final velocity, let's say, is v, so final kinetic energy is half mv square, and W total is 3600. That's a simple calculation. That gives me final velocity as 15.5 meter per second. So you can see the box accelerates and you get the final velocity as 15.5 meter per second. You don't have to use Newton's laws, you can use it from the energy, you can find it from the energy considerations alone. So let's go to the next problem. A 200 kg metal hammer is lifted 3 meter above the top of a vertical iron pillar which has to be driven into ground for a bridge construction. When the hammer is dropped from the rest, so the hammer is really heavy, you can see it's a 200 kg hammer. It is raised to certain height and it is dropped. It is raised to the height of 3 meter, then it is dropped from the rest. The pillar goes 7.4 meter into the ground. The hammer will hit the pillar. Every time hammer hits the pillar, pillar goes deeper in the ground. The hammer is guided by vertical rails. So guide rails attached to the hammer exert a 60 Newton friction force. The guides are necessary so that the hammer falls vertically onto the pillar. Calculate the speed of a hammer just before it hits the pillar. Calculate the average force by hammer on the pillar. Ignore air resistance. G is 9.8 meter per second square. So can anyone tell me how do we tackle this problem? Yes, so for the first part, when the hammer is dropped, it has been asked the velocity, just calculate the speed just before it hits the pillar. I can use for this first part work kinetic energy theorem. So let me write down my quantities. Mass is 200 kg, height is 3 meter. The friction is 60 Newton. Friction will be working in the upward direction because the hammer is falling downward. Friction will work upward. Displacement is 7.4 meter and I am taking downward displacement as positive. So let us apply the work kinetic energy theorem. We have to find out velocity at the end of it and force at the end of it. So using work, how much is the work done by gravity? So gravity is working downward, displacement is also downward. So mgh cos 0 or simply mgh. You put the value, mass is 200 and h is 3 meters and g is 9.8. You get 5880 joule. Work done by the friction. So as we have seen, displacement is downward, friction is upward, they are in opposite direction. So cos 180, that is going to be minus 180 joule after substitution. So the total work done on the hammer would be the sum of the two. So the total work done is work done by gravity plus work done by friction. That turns out to be 5700 joule. Therefore, total work done is final kinetic energy minus initial kinetic energy. As usual, we have seen initial kinetic energy of hammer is 0. Final velocity is v, so final kinetic energy will be half mv square and work total is here. That will, if you calculate, v will be root 57 or 7.55 meter per second. So that gives me the final velocity of the hammer. So hammer will hit the pillar. This solves the first part. Hammer will hit the pillar with the speed of 7.55 meter per second. Pillar goes 7.4 meter into the ground and stops. It doesn't go further. That means within a displacement of 7.4 meter, both hammer and pillar will come to rest. So I can use kinematical equations to find out the deceleration of the pillar as well as the hammer, which will be the same. So whatever is the final velocity obtained in the first part of the problem for the hammer would be the initial velocity for the second part. So I can write my kinematical equation: V final square is equal to V initial square plus 2as. The initial velocity in the second part is the final velocity of the first part. Be careful. So I can now substitute those values. Final velocity is 0 for the second part because the pillar and hammer both will come to rest. So this will vanish. This will 2as will go on the other side, and then when you calculate, you get acceleration as minus 3.85 meter per second square. Substitute V0 square as 57 divided by 2s. That will give you minus 3.85 meter per second square. Therefore, this is the deceleration. This will give you the reaction force on the hammer. By Newton's third law, the force by the hammer will be equal to the opposite to the reaction force on the hammer, which will be plus mass into acceleration, where m is the mass of hammer, and therefore that when you substitute mass of hammer over here, you get 770 Newton, and this force due to hammer will work in the downward direction. Okay, let's go to the next one. Similar force F acts on two masses, a small m and 2m, which are free to slide on a smooth surface. Starting from rest, which of the mass will get greater kinetic energy if they are displaced by the same distance? So I have two masses m and 2m, and the same force is working for same distance. Which will have larger kinetic energy? If you do it from Newton's law, it looks like a tricky question, because small mass will undergo larger acceleration and larger mass will undergo smaller acceleration. So it becomes tricky to guess the final kinetic energy. However, if you look at from the work kinetic energy theorem, the work done is same in both the cases because force and displacement are same. So gain in kinetic energy has to be same. So in both cases, the force and displacement are identical. So work done is same. So gain in kinetic energy will be same. So that actually helps you to understand what is kinetic energy. So kinetic energy is nothing but force working on a body to a certain distance. So if the force is working on the body up to a certain distance, the product of the two will give you the kinetic energy. I have solved this problem by Newton's law also, just to show you that the work done is same in both cases. Kinetic energy, final kinetic energy is same in both cases. So in the first case it will be F into S, and in the second case also it turns out to be F into S. So this is just to show you that what argument we are placing here, they are same by Newton's laws also. So going to the next question. So a man of 80 kg stands on a weighing scale. Scale is consisting of a stiff spring which compresses by 1.5 centimeter under man's weight. Find the force constant of the spring and total work done on it. So this is the principle by which the spring balances work, weighing machines work. There is a small spring, when you stand on it, it compresses. By calculating the compression, you get the weight or mass. So let me just quickly show you the solution. Here is the free body diagram of the situation. So the force working on the spring in the downward Force working on the man in the downward direction is mg and in the upward direction is kx. It will be a normal reaction, but if you evaluate, it will be equal to kx. So F is equal to kx for a spring. Mass is 80 kg, force is 800 Newton, x is 1.5 into 10 power minus 2 meter. So F is equal to kx. K is equal to F upon x, that will give me the spring constant 5.33 into 10 power 4 Newton per meter. And the work done in case of a spring, we have already seen the theory, half k x2 square minus half k x1 square. Initially the spring was relaxed though the displacement was 0. So initial work done was 0. For final work done, you can put the displacement value, you can put the k value and solve. After solving, you will get it as 6 joule. So this is the total work on the spring. Taking the next one, one end of a spring constant 20 Newton per meter is attached to a rigid wall. A block of mass 0.1 kg which is moving with a speed of 1.5 meter per second hits the spring which was initially relaxed. Find the maximum distance that the block will move before coming to rest. Here is my situation. I have a frictionless surface, I have a rigid wall, I have a spring which is relaxed to begin with, and the block is moving with velocity v. What will happen when the block hits the spring? There will be compression of the spring. So what happens to the kinetic energy of the block? Will it increase? Will it decrease? You can see that the kinetic energy of the block will drop, and who is doing the work for this decrease in the kinetic energy? The compression of the spring force. Remember that. So it is a problem which is similar to the last one. Total work done is change in the kinetic energy. So final kinetic energy minus initial kinetic energy, but finally block will come to rest when the spring will be compressed maximally. Therefore final kinetic energy is 0, so it is minus Ki, W total is minus Ki. I am again showing you the calculation of the work done by the spring. It is a variable force, so you have to use the integral formula f dx minus. Why is this minus sign? Very simple. The block, the displacement of the block is towards left, while the spring force working on the block due to spring will be towards the right side. So the minus sign will come here. Force due to spring is kx. You integrate it from 0 to x. You get it as half kx square. In fact, you write half kx final minus half kx initial. Initially x is 0. So this second part will vanish. So it will be minus half kx square. So this I can equate the two, work total and kinetic energy. So minus half kx square is equal to minus ki, which is minus half mv square. So minus half will cancel out from both sides, and you can write x as mv square upon k under root, and once you substitute the values, all the values are given, you get it as 10.6 centimeter. Last one or two questions. Force acting on a particle with respect to position is given in the graph. What is the work done on the particle? So I have a graph. On y axis you have f of x, on x axis you have displacement. The graph is a triangular graph. You have to calculate the work done. Area under the curve. So it's a triangle. You can do a single triangle and find the area. I have split into two triangles and I have done it. So just for the more clarity, so this is one triangle, half into base into height, half into base is 8, height is 10, here the base is 4, height is 10, or you can take simply base as 12, height as 10, and get the answer as 60 joule. Force acting on a particle is given by f of x is equal to 18.0 minus 0.5x Newton. Calculate the work done on the particle as the particle moves from x is equal to 0 to x is equal to 14.0 meter. That's right, this is a problem with a variable force. Force is not constant, it is changing with position. So remember this, that's why I am precisely keeping this problem here. If the force is changing with position, just like any spring force, you have to take an integration of this equation. So force is this, limits are 0, x is equal to 0 to x is equal to 14 meter. So work done is 0 to x f dx, substitute f, open out integration, and then solve it by substituting the values. You get 203 joule. If you are unfamiliar with integration, please check out the integration video on the channel. This is the last question. An engine of a jet plane develops a thrust of 322,000 Newton. When the airplane is flying at 250 meter per second, what horsepower does engine develop? So to know the horsepower, you first know the power. Force is given, velocity is given. In the last lecture, we have already discussed that the power is nothing but force into velocity. So you multiply the two things together, you get power in watt. 8.05 into 10 power 7. Since everywhere there is SI unit, power will be in watt. How do you get it in horsepower then? Yes, you divide by 746 and you get 1.07 into 10 power 5 horsepower. So that is a very high value, but remember we are talking about a jet plane. So values are going to be high. We can stop here. Thank you.